Joining me now is Congresswoman Annie Kuster, chair of the New Democrat Coalition. Congresswoman, as you know, President Joe Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy reached a deal on the debt ceiling over the weekend. You support the bill, and this is coming very close to that drop-dead June 5th X date. We're just a week out. And you also chair the New Democrat Coalition, which is made up of center-left lawmakers, close to 100 lawmakers there. Do they support the legislation as well?
I expect most will.
Great. And was that a hard sell? The bill is 99 pages. When you read it, were you able to say right away, hey, I'm on board? Or was there a little more negotiating involved?
Well, there was a lot of review over the weekend. We had a number of presentations by the White House, by the staff, the members that had been involved directly in the negotiations, sort of a deep dive, if you will, into certain provisions. But as I was talking to my colleagues on Monday and Tuesday, it was pretty clear that we had broad support within the New Democrat Coalition. We are pragmatic members. We tend to care about the economy. So we had been very concerned about the threat of a government default. And we are focused on jobs and the economy. And so we were so relieved that there were provisions that people's lives have been protected. Social Security is untouched. Medicare is untouched. Medicaid is untouched. And we actually got some gains for serving our veterans. And so we felt good about the agreement. And I think you'll see strong support for the agreement from the New Democrat Coalition.
Just this morning on Morning Joe, you said that this deal is not perfect, but that's what a compromise is, right? You're not getting everything you want. It is more of a push and pull situation. So when you read the 99 pages, when you talked it out with members of your own party, what was that one word, maybe, if you could sum it up, that you felt and why?
Pragmatic, relieved. I wish that we were not in this situation where some of my Republican colleagues were trying to hold our economy hostage. I think it's created unnecessary anxiety for our constituents. And I think it has rattled the markets and the full faith and credit of the United States government and our standing in the world. But having come to this situation, I feel that this agreement will resolve that by raising the debt ceiling so that we can move on, and B, set up a framework for future spending around our budget that is fair, and we will fight hard for our constituency. And I think we will see a more practical resolution of the budget. We won't see these kinds of games being played in a political way. I don't think we'll see a shutdown of the government, for example. That's something that's happened in the past. I think we'll just go back to a more pragmatic approach that will serve the needs of our communities all across the country.
I have been talking about the debt ceiling and these negotiations for months now, and it seemed like it was at impasse until just the last few weeks when the ball really got rolling here. And I do want to talk with you about some of your colleagues that maybe are a little more hesitant here. Just today, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez did say she would not be supporting the bill. Representative Pramila Jayapal also had comments coming out against the legislation, and Congressman Greg Kuster told Axios this: some number of progressives, including myself, lean no. So I know that these members of Congress aren't in the New Democrat Coalition, but they are still your colleagues. What would you tell them? What would you tell these colleagues of yours that are a little more hesitant to support this legislation?
Well, I think every member of Congress needs to vote their district, vote for their constituency. We certainly have dozens of members of the Freedom Caucus and the Republican Caucus that plan to vote against the bill. And I respect that. Getting to 218 votes to pass this in a bipartisan way is much easier. You're starting with 435 votes. And what I've said is this vote will come from the middle out. I think we'll have about the same number of Republicans as we will Democrats, maybe a few more Democrats in the end supporting their president. But that's what's important, is that we get this passed, that we get past this crisis point, and that we don't ever come back to these kinds of politics over people's real lives that threaten our economy.